Uh, so let's move on to our time of game this week,
Ha
where we look inwardly at ourselves and wonder what are our times of games.
So I want to head this up. You know, when we've had some people ask about the segment and
Many people.
what it is, yeah, many people have asked about this segment, and they've asked, where did it come from, and like, where did the what's the concept, I guess. And when we decided upon this segment, we were thinking of the fact that there are so many times in our lives that things, pivotal parts of our life have happened, and yet a game was happening alongside them, or a game was happening in the background. You know, if you look back and you think about a specific time in your life where you're going through a hard time or a great time or something hilarious happened, there's probably also, if you've been gaming for a long time or even a short amount of time, there's probably a game that came out around that time that you were interacting with, you were playing with. And so um this week we are going into ours. Specifically, I'll go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Okay. So my time
Monica,
of
what
game
is your time of game?
my time of game is the summer of Harvest Moon, and I was in elementary school. I No boys liked me. All the boys liked my friends. I had crushes on anybody and anything, and I was still catching no fish, and it
What do you mean
sucked.
by anything?
Just if you looked like a boy, or, whatever. Eh,
Yeah,
I
What?
had crushes on cartoon characters. They
there you
also
go.
didn't like me back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no one liked me back no matter how hard I tried. So, I ended up becoming really, really good friends. I was already really good friends with my neighbor. And he was just not, really necessarily my type, I would say, as a, however old I was, 9-year old, 10-year old. Um, and but I would go to his house all the time, and we would always play video games together. In fact, I would just climb over the fence and walk into his back door, grab a couple of his fruit roll-ups, and walk
Mm.
upstairs, and we'd just bust onto his Super Nintendo and play games. We started playing Harvest Moon all the time. We were
Yeah.
obsessed with this game. Well, I developed a crush for Brian, as I did pretty much anything with a penis. And so, because of our proximity to one another and everything, I thought, man, I am in love with Brian, and he's probably the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. And but I was hesitant because we were such good friends.
Yeah.
I was hesitant to let him know of my feelings. But luckily for me, I had Teen Magazine, and Teen Magazine was full of insightful articles on how to improve your teenage or childhood love life. None of them had really worked for me thus far, but I was assured that when I saw how to make your best friend your best boyfriend, that 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 this was the article, the skies parted, and this was the article that was going to change my life. So I decided I was going to, let Brian know of my infatuation with him. And I cut the article out, and I brought it to him one day, and I said, or no, wait, sorry. First, I told him I had a crush on him,
Mhm.
and I told him I had read an article, and and it said that people that were really good friends could be really good romantic partners. And I probably even said romantic partners because I was really awkward.
Very
um
mature of you.
yeah, well, I was just regurgitating whatever it was saying in the teen magazine. But and I said, I think we should be boyfriend and girlfriend. And he said, I don't know. And I said, well, let me get you this article so you can read it, because I'm pretty sure we should be boyfriend and girlfriend, because this article. So I took the article and I gave it to
So
him as
awkward.
reading material for him to go home and read. And my friend Brian, he did read this article. What a sweetheart. He read it from top to bottom, and he came back to me and he told me, Monica, I just don't think it's right for us. to be boyfriend and girlfriend. I wouldn't want to lose you as a friend.
Yeah.
And I was like, God damn it, Brian, you're my last resort here.
Oh
You're
no.
you're my last resort. No one likes me. You spend every day with me and you don't even want to, be my boyfriend. What the hell is this? I mean, that's what I was thinking, childhood mind. Other things happened with Brian that summer. I was allowed to get my first bikini. My mom, that was a huge step for me. My mom, bikinis were very risque. I'm pretty sure my mom would have just loved to put a sheet over me when I went to swimming.
Yeah.
And I decided I was going to show Brian me in my bikini, and that might change his mind. I was so excited. He was at my house this time. His younger brother was playing with my younger brother. And they were all playing video games. And I said, Brian, I have something I want to show you. And I ran upstairs and changed it into my bikini. And I ran downstairs and I ran into the den and I busted the door open. And there I was in my bikini. And Brian screamed at the top of his lungs, a blood curdling scream, and covered his eyes and said, no. And I said, what? And
That's exactly what you want to hear.
And he said, no, I don't want to look at you like that. And I said, okay. And I went upstairs and I put my bikini in away. And I thought maybe I shouldn't have pressured my mom so much to get me a bikini. Maybe I should be wearing sheets to the pool.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry.
The long story short, on my summer of Harvest Moon is that we did keep playing Harvest Moon the entirety of that summer. We kept playing regardless of him not being in love with me. And we kept playing games after that too. And years later, I found out that I wasn't as revolting to Brian as I originally thought, for the reasons I had originally thought. I thought it was me. I thought I was ugly. I thought I was too weird. But Brian was just gay. So I was safe. I wasn't ugly. He has always thought I was beautiful. He's always thought I was fun and creative, and he loved being my friend, and we're still friends to this day. But Brian loved dick
at a very young age,
and
but he knew what he wanted.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah. Brian was gay from the moment Brian was born. And that is my time of game.
What about you, Josh? What's your time of game?
So this one, it's not as kooky. But it goes back to my sort of middle to latter part of middle school, and at this time, some things had changed up in my life, and so I went from living with my mom for the first half of the week, the work week, and then my dad the second half, and on the weekends I go to my grandma's, to just being with my dad the entirety of the work week, and on the weekends I go to my grandmother's. And that was, my grandmother's was awesome. It's where I had internet. I'd saved up enough money. I had an Xbox and I had a really crappy laptop. And that was sort of like my playground in terms of technology and video games. So it got to the point to the summer before the last year of middle school, I pretty much was going to spend my whole summer at grandma's. For one, because I wanted to, but also my uncle, who lived down there, he was being deployed to Iraq, and he was the one who kept the lawn mowed. He kept, helped with groceries, did everything, and that was pretty much going to be my responsibility for the entirety of that summer and a little bit beyond that. So I move in pretty much full time with my grandmothers for that summer, ready to go. And I quickly found out that I liked going outside a lot, and there was no kids in that neighborhood. I had a bike, but there was nowhere to ride a bike to. And luckily, I had an internet connection, and I had this nice, not new, but semi still fresh game, Star Wars Galaxies. And that became my outlet to the world. That was sort of became the replacement of having in real life friends for that summer, since there was no kids in that neighborhood. As time went on through the summer, it became kind of apparent that grandma was getting a little sick, and she was sort of developing early stage Alzheimer's, which we didn't know that that's what was going on then. We thought grandma was getting a little kooky. So
Grandma was turning into
it was figuring
Monica.
out as the summer sort of winded down, and this entire summer, this is how I spent when I wasn't mowing the lawn or riding my bike. I was on Star Wars Galaxies, maybe a little Xbox Live here and there, but it may be a little bit of a game called There.com. But most of the time, Star Wars Galaxies, and that is where I became a guild leader. I developed a huge network of friends that still remain to this day. But through them, I kind of explained what was going on with grandmother, some of the ones close to me on there, and they were like, dude, it sounds like she has early stages of dementia. And so they were the ones who actually helped me get grandma to the right doctor, and we figured out that that's what it was. And so she was able to get fairly early treatment, all because of me chatting away with some guildies on Star Wars Galaxies.
That's awesome.
So unfortunately, the game was shortly ruined with a game called John Smedley and others decided to push the game. They decided to revamp it a little bit, make it a little flashy. World of Warcraft was crushing some hearts out there on us. People were leaving, and they decided we need to make it flashy. We need to make it fun. So they came out with this thing called the Combat Upgrade. And pretty much a month after that Combat Upgrade came out, my entire guild just dismantled. The game was ruined for us. Later, they would come out with a game called the New Game Enhancements. But throughout this time, the whole time, I was always remembered that, with my grandmother there, that they really helped me. And on the day that Star Wars Galaxies officially shut down, 2 days after the game officially shut down, after the new game enhancements, everything, that's when grandmother died. So that through that whole dilemma of her dementia and stuff, Star Wars Galaxies was always kind of there for me.
That's awesome.
So that was a little bit more of a bleaker one, but that was my time of game.
I don't know.
Sure.
I felt, I feel for you. I mean, when I was definitely in a bleak state with Brian, but nowhere near as serious,
Right. No, it definitely kept me going, and it was there for me when I needed some friends. It was there for me when we got my grandma sort of situated, and it kept my interest and kept me sort of my attention away from the impending issue with my grandma all the way till the last days.
Yeah, and it's crazy how guildmates stay with you.
Yeah,
the people I played World of Warcraft with are the only people from that part of my life, that time period, that I still talk to. Everyone else is like, I don't care about them, but my guildmates, like, I still check in with them. They do like a yearly meetup, even though none of them play these kind of games anymore. They still like go and hang out.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I had many of them send flowers and stuff, and I still for my grandmother's funeral, and they still check in with me on Facebook and everything today.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good times, good old times in middle school on Star Wars Galaxies.
All right, Brian, you are our final time of gamer.
I wish we had like a flashlight we could pass around and put on your face. So my time of game would be the Christmas of Final Fantasy VII, and where I got my love for like RPGs and kind of grinding out games. My parents were separated at this point. I forget exactly what year it came out, but I was a real young lad. And so it's Christmas time, and we were spending it at my dad's. It was his Christmas that time, and he had gotten all the kids gifts and stuff. And my brother had gotten Final Fantasy VII. I got a very sweet remote control car. So me and my brother were playing the remote control car out in the driveway. And he was controlling it, and through a series of unfortunate events, it got ran over, and I no longer had my very sweet car. But
the same day?
Yeah, it was the Christmas.
Okay,
so,
well, wait. Tell me about this. Like, who ran it over?
It was one of my aunts. There are various stories if he drove the car underneath, or drove the RC car underneath it, or if she saw it and she kind of revved it up. Yeah, there's a contentious argument within the family. And so I'm just sitting there, not driving the car or my RC car, just like the RC car, I was crushed inside because I probably had a good 2 hours on it total since I've gotten it. I was being a good brother, sharing my gifts. But we had played Final Fantasy earlier in the day, like booted up and saw it, and I really loved the game. But then my dad saw that my RC car had been crushed, and he thought that he could solve the situation and return Final Fantasy VII and buy me another RC car. And so that's what occurred. And then Christmas ended, or the Christmas Day ended, and the next day we went back to my mom's, and she was not having that shit. She went out and bought us Final Fantasy VII.
Wait, so you ruined a car, and so your dad returned your brother's game?
No. Yeah, my brother allegedly is the one he blamed for ruining the car, so he took his game and returned it to buy me another.
So your dad punished your brother by buying you another car because your brother ruined your life.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
But I really wanted to play Final Fantasy VII instead. Like the RC car is like cool for a minute or two, but like it's Final Fantasy VII, man.
Yeah.
So my mom said fuck that. We went back to her place, and she just bought Final Fantasy VII. And so I remember staying up all night with my brother, and this is the first game we had really bonded as brothers over video games. We just we played Mega Man, and that was cool, and I'd go out and play games or football and stuff because I was more into sports. But playing Final Fantasy VII was kind of a turning point because I got so involved in the story. Me and my brother were playing it together. We would really grind out hours into the game. No, we gotta hit level 80 before we go to this boss. So we would take shifts during the night, waking up and playing. And when I look back, I see that game as really letting me, Josh, when you have problems, you're escaping into the game.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Final Fantasy VII for me as a child, where I didn't know what was going on with my family and stuff, it I just fell into that game and wouldn't think about anything else.
I feel like you are totally skipping out on all of the family drama. You're yeah, my car got run over and everything. I want to know about the family drama. What happened? You said your parents were getting a divorce, or
they were already divorced.
Okay, so they were already divorced, and then your dad was I'm doing this, and your mom was I'm doing this. I want to know about the family drama.
Okay, it's just
drama.
Tell me about that drama.
My mom is kind of a you can go fuck yourself type of person. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When he took that game away and I'm going to teach you a lesson.
She was you can go fuck yourself. I'm going to teach him another lesson. I'm the better parent.
Yes, that's exactly what she did. And there's a lot of drama in the family. I don't necessarily remember because I kind of block a lot of stuff out. And I just do. There are gaps where I'm just no, I'm not going to think about that. But it was kind of a thing where my brother necessarily wasn't the favorite child. And so he seemed to always get punished for stuff that wasn't really going on. So when he got the car ran over, it's not he meant to do it, but my dad was no, he needs to learn that he's, needs to take responsibility for what happens from his actions and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And my mom is just kind of you are who you are. You're going to lean into that in your life, and it's going to you're going to be better because of that. And so we just wanted to play games, and so she let us lean into that and spent her money, which we weren't wealthy, or we weren't even well off. We were poor people, and she was no, we're gonna go out and buy this game, and we're gonna play it and love it, and she let us do that.
Was your brother jealous of you when he got his Final Fantasy game taken away and you got an extra RC car?
No.
Or did he feel bad?
I think he hated it. I really don't know what emotions he was going through because I think we were both just sad for Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, okay.
We lost a car, but we lost 60 hours of wonderful RPGs.
Okay. All right. Well, I wanted to know the details. I feel like you were yeah, my family's going through all this stuff, but But
Yeah.
you were only skimming the surface. I need the nitty gritty.
This this is an early episode of our pod. The nitty gritty will come out as it goes. And
All right, awesome.
all right,
So that's our time of games, though. I mean, things like we're now all blood brothers and sisters.
Yeah,
That's how you become a blood brother and sister.
Yeah.
You just tell a story about your life where something happened and a game was somehow related. That's how it works.
I love
So,
time of game. It's the
yeah.
best.
Yeah.
We know each other now.
Yeah, we do.
Now
Inside
we
and out.
have.
It's great.